Hello there everybody and welcome back to another video. Today, in this video, we are going to be breaking down and reviewing Chapter 11 of The Mandalorian Season 2. I will now give you 10 seconds to click off the video if you haven't seen it. Anything beyond that, there will be spoilers. If you see them, you've been warned. Okay, so before we crack on into the video, there will be spoilers ahead for Chapter 11. If you have not watched Chapter 11, go watch it now, come back, watch this video. However, if you have not seen it, and you click and you continue watching after the 10 seconds, and you get spoilers and you haven't watched it, and then don't get upset at me down in the comments, because I've warned you now. You will now be given 10 seconds to click. Okay, so first and foremost, I will give my review and my opinion on it. So, in my opinion, 9 out of 10. Nothing can be that 10 out of 10 perfect for me, because once I've found that 10 out of 10 perfect, you'll never find anything better, and if you find something better, that thing now becomes 10 out of 10, and yeah. So it's 9 out of 10 for me. The reviews in this, which I won't say now, but I'll wait until they actually come out in the breakdown. But the reveals in this episode are amazing that nobody expected. One thing I do want to say, so I do feel sorry for Sasha Banks, because her character was really hyped up. Like, she's playing Sabine, she could be playing an Inquisitor, but then she is playing like Bo-Katan's right-hand woman. But you know, it's not quite the same as like Sabine or an Inquisitor, something like that. And I do feel sorry for. So let's crack on into the breakdown. So in Chapter 11. We cover pretty much everything else from the trailer, essentially. Everything that was in the trailers, apart from maybe maybe about 5 seconds total that was in some of the TV spots, has not been in this episode. Essentially everything else that wasn't in episodes 1 and 2, it was in this episode. So chapters 9 and 10 was in this episode. So some people that I had seen saying stuff like, that everything that was in the trailer was going to be in chapters 9, 10, and 11 were completely right. So this shot is the Razor Crest going from the gas giant to the water world of Trask. Yeah, nothing really much to break down here. It was the opening shots of the trailer. So then we see Baby Yoda and the rest of them sleeping. Here, I did kind of think that Baby Yoda might have been meditating to start off with, but then once it revealed that the others were asleep, I just realised, no, he's not. So then the Navicomputer beeps saying that they've arrived at Trask and wakes them all up. Then Mando says, okay, right, we need to go and land now. We've arrived at Trask, we need to go land. And he tries to activate the landing array, but they don't work, and he's like, dang ferret, the landing array's broken. And he also says that it will have to be a manual re-entry. So then we see this shot, which I did speculate in my Chapter 11 predictions, was actually the Razor Crest. Some people were saying that this was Slave 1 when the original trailer came out, but it's definitely the Razor Crest. This shot confirms it. This bit of footage confirms that it was the Razor Crest, not Slave 1. Now, Slave 1 could potentially burn up in Season 2 or 3. Maybe it will. I don't know. But yeah, this shot was not Slave 1, it was the Razor Crest. So then Mando asked the frog lady if she can hold this lever in position, because it needs to be back and he has to be on the other 2 controls, and this lever has to be back, so he says that he needs her hands to do this. Then just as he's re-entering, the landing, I guess you could call them like the landing guidance person, I guess you could call them. They tell him, Razor Crest, please slow down your speed, because obviously he's going ridiculously quick, because he's just manually re-entering, essentially falling from the sky. So then just as it looks like Mando's about to make a solid landing, he manages to just about use the last bit of fuel just to stop the ship. One of the engines explodes and it falls off the side. Then we see Chapter 11, and I'm going to absolutely butcher this name. I'm not very good with pronunciation, so I'm sorry. The Heros. That's the best you're going to get out of me. Yeah, I'm not good at pronunciation. So then Mando's ship gets pulled out of the water by what looks to be a modified AT-AT Walker, which is a callback to Episode 5. There's a lot of callbacks to Episode 4 and 5 in this one, with like scenes, certain sounds in certain places that I noticed other people picked up. I personally didn't, because I'm not that big of a fan of Episode 4 Episode 5 is pretty good, but I'm not that big of a fan of episode 4, so I didn't pick up on those sounds personally. Lots of other people did though. Yeah, but there is a lot that reflects episodes 4 and 5 in this one. Then Mando gives a Mon Calamari mechanic 1,000 credits to fix the ship and refuel it. Yeah, we learn later that he did get. We learn later that he gave him 1,000 credits, and we learn later that he didn't do the best job. Yeah, I'll show you that later. So then Frog Lady just sort of runs off and looks around for her husband, which she eventually spots, and then they embrace, have a nice little hug, and it's a very, very heartwarming moment to not revive, repair, I guess you could say, repair the two, put them together again. You know what I mean, put the husband and the wife back together, you know what I mean. Then Mando's like, well, I did this because obviously I wanted to help her out transporting her eggs, but also I was told that there are other Mandalorians here, and I'm told that you can lead them to me. And just after he says this, Sasha Banks' character appears, and after she appears, the Frog Man, I guess you could say, is like, the Mandalorians, I know somebody who can lead you to them. Go over to that inn, and they'll tell you where they are. So they go to the inn, they walk in, and he thanks the Frog Man and woman, and says goodbye to them. So then Mando orders Baby Yoda some chow and pays the Mon Calamari with the Mon Calamari flan that he got in Chapter 1 for the bounties that he collected. And he asks him for information, but the bartender's a bit annoyed because he obviously wanted him to have some food there, but he was like, no, I want this information instead. So the Mon Calamari person, he pours Baby Yoda his chowder, and then goes over to talk to somebody else about finding other Mandalorian. But the squid thing that's in the chowder comes out and attaches itself to Baby Yoda's face, which is not very good, for him at least. Then Mando uses his vibroblade to kill the squid so that Baby Yoda can eat it easily, and he also tells him to not play with his food. There is a lot of bonding in this episode between Mando and Baby Yoda, where Mando is definitely acting like a father to him. Which is good because that's what Baby Yoda needs. He needs a father figure in his life to sort of guide him, which perhaps Ahsoka will become more of a mother figure in his life eventually. So then the Quarren person comes over and says, so you want to find more of your people? Well, I know where they are. They're a few hours sail away. Come with me and I'll take you to them. And obviously Mando agrees to this because, well, he needs to find other Mandalorians. So then we see the boat shot from the trailer, and this is probably the first time that a boat's ever appeared in Star Wars, whether it be in animation or live action. I believe that they've probably been in some comics at some point, but this is the first time we see them in the main on-screen kind of thing, if you know what I mean. So then again, we see this shot from a trailer, another trailer shot. Good to see the trailer shots. So then the Quarren person's like, have you ever seen a mama core eat? The child might like to watch it. Do you want to come over and watch it? And obviously Mando, not wanting to make any enemies, says, yeah, sure, whatever, and they go over to watch it. And they watch as the fish get put into the water, and then the mama core starts to eat, and then the chap knocks Baby Yoda into the water. Yeah, and then Baby Yoda gets eaten. Yeah, end of Baby Yoda. No, I'm joking, of course, it's actually not, but yeah. It's supposed to be dramatic effect. And then Mando dives in after Baby Yoda, because obviously he doesn't want Baby Yoda to die, but he quickly realises that is a mistake, because the Quarren people put the crate, I guess you could call it, across again, so that he can't get it. So then Mando, obviously, he comes back up, he goes down, but then he comes back up to surface for air, and the Quarren people start trying to stab him, which, not very nice of them, I must admit. And then, the big reveal of the episode. Well, not the biggest reveal, but one of the big reveals of the episode. You can see a Mandalorian wearing blue and black fighting off the Quarren people. And then we go up from the crate, the camera pans up from the crate. We see other Mandalorians fighting. We see the person who, when he takes off his helmet, looks a lot like Tamara Morrison, but he's not actually played by Tamara Morrison. And I've forgotten his name, and I forgot to write it down on my little sheet. I tried to be more prepared today, but I forgot to write down his name. That's stupid of me. And then we can see from here that the other Mandalorian is Bo-Katan, which this I don't think anybody was expecting. I did previously speculate that perhaps that Mando would find a covert of Mandalorians there, and perhaps that there would be Sabine and Bo-Katan there. But I did not expect just a Bo-Katan to appear and rescue him like this. I was more thinking that Bo-Katan would just be sitting around or like playing a similar role to the Armorer was in season 1, just sort of in control with like Sabine and her brother and mother and father of like one of a Mandalorian covert on this planet. I did not expect her to appear like this. I don't think anybody did. So then Bo-Katan offers him her hand so that she can pull him out of the water. And Mando's obviously very, very much out of breath because he was under the water for quite a long time. And he's like, help the child, don't help me, help the child. There's a big monster down there that's got the child. And then Sasha Banks' character then dives down into the water to go and retrieve Baby Yoda. And Mando's still like, help the child, don't help me, help the child. And Bo-Katan's like, don't worry, brother, we'll get him, don't worry. Then Sasha Banks' character comes back up with his cot. So I guess you could call it a cot, it's not really a cot. And is all beaten and damaged and broken. And they rip it open and they get Baby Yoda out. Now this is kind of a sad moment because it means that like the last thing made by Quill is now destroyed. Which it's sad that the last thing made by him's been destroyed. Then Sasha Banks passes Baby Yoda back to Mando and they have a bit of an embrace, I guess you could say. Then tragedy happens, or at least as far as Mando's concerned, because Mando starts explaining his mission like, I was here to bring this one, I've been looking for others of our kind, I'm here to bring this one back. And then Bo-Katan and the others begin to take off their helmet. Then Bo-Katan, obviously, they fully take off their helmet and we see live action Bo-Katan for the first time, and played by Katie Sackhoff. Now, people have said that she looks very, 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 very much like she does in animation, which, to be fair, in the face she does. Personally, I picture her in live action to have her hair being slightly longer and slightly straighter, but that's obviously very, very minor criticism, and it's not a problem at all. So then Mando's shocked and is like, where did you get that armor? Then Bo-Katan tells him that this armor's been in her family for generations. And then Mando's like, you do not cover your face, you're not real Mandalorian. And then the guy pipes up and says, oh, he's one of those. And Mando's like, what do you mean one of those? And Bo-Katan's like, a child of the Watch. And then Mando's like, well, what's a child of the Watch? And then Bo-Katan explains that they are a cult of religious zealots that broke away from Mandalorian society. Their goal is to re-establish the ancient way. And then Mando just says, there is only one way, the way of the Mandalore. And he takes off on his jetpack and goes. And then we see that they blow up the ship that they were on, so that means that the last thing made by Quill was now fully destroyed, which is sad. It's sad. And then we see that, similarly to how Boba Fett was revealed at the end of Chapter 9, Mando's sort of watching in the distance as they blow it up. So that's kind of a little cool thing. Then we see Mando walking the streets of Trask, and then we see a Quarren person come up to him, and he's like, you killed my brother, I'm going to kill your pet. And then the other Mandalorians come down to help him, and Bo-Katan says, he didn't kill your brother, I did. And they kill them. All of them, very, very, very efficiently, which just goes to show how ruthless Mandalorians can be. Like, yeah, it just goes to show how ruthless they are. So then Bo-Katan and's like, well, we may not agree on some stuff, but can we at least buy you a drink? So they go back to the cantina that they were in before, and Bo-Katan explains what her mission is, saying that Trask is a black market port, and they're selling the plungers of our planet, and that they're seizing them and going to reuse them to retake their world, and they're going to seat a new Mandalore on the throne. Her ultimate goal in this is to unite Mandalore, so I think she sort of uses terms like put a new Mandalore on the throne to sort of like make Mando trust her, because she'll need like the people of the Watch on her side so that she can unite Mandalore, because that's essentially what she wants to do. And then Mando's like, well, the Empire killed not just the men, but the women and the children too on our planet. Once they realised that they couldn't have it, they made it so that no one could have it, and that world is cursed and that you don't want to go back there, and that it's not part of my mission. So then Bo-Katan looks in a bit confused, like, well, what is your mission then? And Mando's like, I've been requested to bring this one back to the Jedi. I was hoping that by creed you would help. So then Bo-Katan's like, what do you know of the Jedi? And Mando's like, nothing. And then Bo-Katan says, well, I do know the Jedi. I know a Jedi, but I need help with my mission. You help me, and then I'll help you. Which sounds like a fair enough deal, but, you know, some things kind of happen. They go back to his ship and get on top of the Razor Crest, and Bo-Katan basically explains the plan that this Resant freighter is being loaded with the spoils of the Great Purge, aka their weapons and stuff which they have been previously seizing to take back Mandalore with. So then Mando goes back to Frog Lady and leaves Baby Yoda with them, saying that something's come up, you know, do you mind just watching him? And they're like, of course, they don't mind watching him. And then we see the first one of her eggs hatch, which is very, very cute. It looks a little cute thing, and Baby Yoda in the background also looks very, very cute, but also very, very hungry. So then we see the Gazont freighter take off, and the four of them take off on their jetpacks to get on top of the freighter. And they punch the two stormtroopers that are on the outside, but one of them alerts the captain that there are pirates there coming to, like they have been for the past couple of weeks or however long they've been doing it for. And then the captain comes in and is just like, well, seal the blast doors, you know, whatever. We'll get rid of them, it's fine. So then I've only really included this because this sort of proves that you don't just need like an R2 unit or something to open these doors, that you can do it yourself. Which I did sort of know, but I wasn't quite sure on, so, you know. So then we see Bo-Katan quite savagely and quite brutally kill 3 stormtroopers on her own, which makes her look like the badass which she is. And then this basically proves, like, this scene just here sort of proved how good their tactics were. Like, basically, they're just nodding to each other and then moving forward and killing them and moving forward and killing them. And it was very, very well done, and it just goes to show that they've done this before, they know what they're doing, and yeah, nice and easy. So then the captain tells the pilots that they need to rise up. He don't care if they're by the shipping docks. They need to get up into space so they can get into hyperspace, and they can go and meet up with the fleet, and then the fleet can just deal with them. Now this, again, I've only included this one because I did not know that like Mandalorian helmets can be used as thermal stuff, because here Mando uses like a smoke grenade so that the stormtroopers can't see. They walk through using their thermal things and shoot them, which I didn't know that they had thermal things on, so this is just a little thing. Maybe others didn't know that as well, thought I'd just include it. So then we see this, the person who's down below with the cargo and stuff is like, close the door, you know, close all the doors, because they reach to the cargo bay and they basically start to kill everyone. So Stormtrooper goes to close all the doors, closes them all very successfully, but traps them in the cargo control room, which probably wasn't the best idea, as they're about to find out. Yeah, they opened up the cargo doors and all got sucked down. Not a smart idea. So then we see what they've been coming for, the Mandalorian blasters, which presumably they shoot yellow darts, unlike Mando who shoots red, but, you know, doesn't really matter. So then Bo-Katan has a bit of a word with the captain and is like, do you copy? And they're like, yep, I copy. Yep, I'm coming up to shoot. I'm taking this entire ship, so I'm going to come and kill you. Be ready, why don't you put on some oil or something, to presumably just to make them look smart for when they arrive. So yeah. So Mando's not very happy, and he's like, well, I helped you get your weapons, and I tell you where they are. And they're like, well, and Bo-Katan's like, well, if you want my help, then you need to help me take this ship. And he's like, oh, for goodness sake, fair enough, I'll help you take the ship. So then we see the first time we see Moff Gideon in this. We see him talking to the captain. He's like, well, you know, they've got too far, can't send reinforcements. You know what you have to do. And he shoots the 2 pilots and then starts to ram the ship into the ground. And Bo-Katan's like, well, you're right, we need to go now. We need to get to the cockpit, because otherwise we never will. But then they're stopped by the stormtroopers who have heavy artillery weapons. But Mando obviously comes in at the last minute, saves the day by throwing 2 grenades into the lot of them, whilst using his Beskar to deflect all the hits, which is kind of cool. But then he did sort of go down towards the end. I thought, is he dead for one moment? But then obviously he got up and I was like, oh, okay. Then, yeah, massive explosion, killing all the stormtroopers. They go to the cockpit, manage to get control of it just to prevent it from hitting the water. Just about getting control of it. They just about managed to. So then Bo-Katan's like, where is it? Where is it? And then he's like, well, where's what? And she's like, the Darksaber. I need it if I'm to control Mandalore. Does he have it? And then he's like, well, if you're asking, then you already know. And then he electrocutes himself using the, electrified tooth thing, and then Bo-Katan's obviously not very happy. So then Mando's like, right, well, I helped you, now tell me where the Jedi are. And she's like, are you sure you don't want me to go and help? Are you sure that you don't want to come with me and help? And he's like, no, I gotta go back take the foundling to the Jedi. So Bo-Katan tells him, go to the city of Caldon on the forest planet of Chorus. There you will find Ahsoka Tano. Tell her you were sent by Bo-Katan, and thank you. So that's it, everybody. Ahsoka Tano confirmed for Mando Season 2. 100%. I'll talk about this at the end. So then, obviously, Mando have gotten his information that he wanted. He jumps off of the freighter and then uses his jetpack to land safe and sound. Then we cut to a very, very cute shot of Baby Yoda playing with the baby frog lady. I assume maybe in frog society all women are pink and all men are blue or green. So I assume that this is a girl. Not sure though. So then Baby Yoda takes Mando away and then he congratulates them on their new child and walks out. Then we see the really, really dodgy repair that the Mon Calamari person did on his ship, which is very, very much a patchwork, but if it flies, then it flies. It can't be any worse than it was before. And yeah, and we can see here, just he's covered the inside with netting for some reason, and then we can clearly see that he's put a bit of the outside on the inside, and just, he's badly, badly messed up. Even I could do a better job, and I know nothing about that kind of thing. So then the final shots are just Mando squeezing the life out of some creature that's native to this planet. We don't really know what it is that's going to attack Baby Yoda. And Baby Yoda, obviously, he eats it, and then they go flying off into the distance. And that was it for the episode. It was a shorter one, but it was very, very action-filled. Lots of stuff to break down, lots to explain. So first and foremost, I want to just talk about quickly the Ahsoka Tano stuff. Ahsoka is now a confirmed Mando Season 2. I don't think we'll get her in the next. In my opinion, he's now going to go back and get Cara Dune and Greef Karga, I reckon, and they're all going to go to the city of Caldon on the forest planet of Chorus. That's where I think they'll go. They'll go, and I think they'll be greeted by Rex and Sabine, and they'll be like, well. And Mando will be like, here, right, I'm looking for Ahsoka. I'm looking for an enemy sorcerer in Ahsoka. And they'll be like, oh, yeah. And then Mando will be like, well, is she nice? What is she like? I've been told that they're enemy sorcerers. And then Rex will be like, whoa, what do you mean? She's not an enemy sorcerer. She's fine, Yeah, and I think it'll just go down something like that. I imagine that'll be the episode, roughly, probably for Chapter 12. But yeah, I'll have another video predicting what will happen in Chapter 12. So that's it for this video. So I would like to thank you all for watching, and I will see you in a brand new video. Bye.